So one of my biggest goals has always been to get into the real estate space. I always followed people, even when I was in college, that had found success in real estate, whether they did wholesaling or Airbnb or just rental property or flipped homes, commercial real estate. And when you meet someone of that caliber, you just automatically think success, wealth. And obviously most people know that real estate can create that for you in the future if you're willing to put in the work today. However, I knew that I wasn't disciplined with my spending, even since college and high school, where I was always working since I was young, since I was 15 years old. But I would just always spend my money on things that weren't important, right? Emotional spending. I would eat out when I didn't need to, when I could have cooked at home. I would spend money on clothes, and I knew that I wasn't doing what I needed to do today as far as saving money and being smart with it to one day be able to acquire my first piece of property. So there came a point in time where I basically said, that's it, I'm putting my foot on the ground, I'm going to stop spending money on things that aren't important. I acquired this, what I call a stay broke mentality. Even when you find yourself making money, I'm not saying a lot of money, but if you're a working person, you actually have to acquire this stay broke mentality. You have to convince yourself every single day that you don't have money, right? And it's so surprising how much money you can actually save when you don't viciously spend it on things that don't matter. And in a way, when you spend your money so viciously, it's almost like you're saying, I don't care about all the time and hard work that I put in to make that money. Because think about, how you were feeling at work that day. Like you could have been in a really bad mood, or you could have been sick, right? But you still made that money. And then the next day you just spend it like nothing, right? So you were brutal at work and now you spent it just like that. So just like that, as crazy as it sounds, from one day to the next, I literally changed my whole mentality. I put my foot on the ground, like I said, and I just started saving everything that I made. I kept that stay broke mentality, and I would do side hustles like Uber, Uber Eats, right? Uber delivery. I would flip things on Marketplace, and I was just literally 24 hours a day just grinding, saving as much as I could. I did that for 2 years until I finally was able to buy my first piece of property and then put it on Airbnb. When I tell you that I put my foot on the ground, it was tunnel vision focus. You have to acquire this. And it's crazy, my whole life changed because socially, I wasn't there for my friends. Not that I lost any friends, but you have to put certain people kind of on the sidelines and they almost don't exist in a way because you have the temptation of going out. You see your friends going out, you see them posting things on social media, having a good time, and you get that FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. But you have to know why you're in it. You have to keep this tunnel vision focus in order to day to day be able to save that money, right? It doesn't have to be for real estate, but it could be for something that you're just trying to do. Maybe at the end of the year, you're trying to go to China or just take a really cool trip. It takes discipline day to day, 365, and getting rid of all the temptation and all the things that push you into, consumer mode, into spending. And that's one of the hardest things really right there, because you have to almost change as a person. If you're an extroverted person, you have to in a way be introverted. You have to be to yourself. You have to remind yourself why you're doing it. What is that end goal? Soon thereafter, all the torture, I was able to acquire my first piece of property. And it was a complete reno, so the home was not livable before we got it. It was a single family home, and after we fixed it up, we were able to put it on Airbnb. Once I put it on Airbnb, it was amazing seeing the results, all the bookings, people from all over the world, and there was honestly enough bookings to pay for the mortgage till the end of the year. And this is actually in the most recent months that I was able to do this. So everything was going great. I was getting bookings literally every single day from people all over the world and all over the country. And I just felt so accomplished, right? All the hard work that I had put into it, was starting to bloom. And all of a sudden, COVID freaking 19 happens. And it was very scary because all of a sudden, right, as the media, as the news was coming out, 80% of my bookings for the month of March and April were completely canceled. And I just thought, what am I gonna do now? Because the costs are gonna continue to come in, right? Your mortgage, your interest. So I kept it on Airbnb, but I had to discount the nightly stay by nearly 50% in hopes of anybody even considering renting it out for a night or two or for however long. While we were in the peak of the quarantine, people were scared to spend. I know I was, and they just didn't need to book an Airbnb. Within a couple weeks of self-quarantining, more recently, I started getting these 2, 3, 4 night bookings of people that live locally and basically just said that they were sick and tired of being locked up in their house, and they wanted to basically just have a little weekend stay at a place that was different, something new, and just wanted to get out of their house. I even had a lady that was in town only for a few nights. She was a nurse and specifically here to work for COVID-19. At this point, all the self-quarantining locals that are staying for 2, 3, or 4 nights have allowed me to break even, and for that, I'm forever grateful. At this point, I'm not even trying to make a profit until we get out of this crisis, and I'm just so happy that I'm able to break even, considering that we are in a time where so many businesses are literally having to shut their doors permanently, and so many jobs are going to continue to be lost in the foreseeable future, and I'm still able to make my mortgage payment. So for that, I'm super grateful. As the economy moves up and down and eventually progresses, I will continue to keep my eyes on the market in hopes of finding another great deal and growing my real estate portfolio. Until next time, guys, peace.